Yeah. So I'd like to call the regular board of selectmen meeting, the regular board of selectmen meeting to order, Tuesday, March 24th. We already did the pledge. I move to approve the agenda as presented with adding an executive session for real estate. Discussion, all those in favor? Thank you. I move to approve the board of selectmen special meeting minutes for March 10th, 2026. We're gonna have to vote on something that's in here, the fee increases that we talked about last week, we never voted on them. So to enact them, we'll have to vote on them, but we will have discussion first. Any discussion on the March 10th meeting? All those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Thank you. I move to approve the board of selectmen special meeting minutes for March 13th, 2026. Is that 3 days later?
Yeah.
Yeah. No swap. Oh, this is the special meeting, okay. Yeah. Any discussion on this one? All those in favor? Aye. One abstention, thank you. Audience of citizens, something that's not on the agenda, please. Thank you, whole business. LMAC proposing changes to the Columbia Lake Dam water level control policy, we talked about them last week. The changes that I had brought up are, I looked at it, they're in here. My concerns were just asked about the between 2 and 6, with 4 being the desired range. And on definitions number 2, water level range is between 2 and 6 inches, with 4 being the ideal basic water line. On page 2, I asked about the cleanup, where we said it'd be time to clean up the lake bottom. And I thought that opening that up to clean up the lake bottom, people would take advantage of that and go out there with machinery and pull rocks away, and that's not what it's for. So they changed it to paragraph 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line. Facilitating annual water exchange in nature's natural lake bottom cleanup. Other things. 7, 8. We talked about locking in periods through the early winter, which is now, they added the words on or around in most of these. So it gives us flexibility. Remember that lake, and we here as a committee, so it gave us the flexibility to decide if we don't want to adhere to hard dates on a calendar. Somebody brought up the fact that the water and the ice, you have a difference of measurement. So it's corrected here to the top of the ice. As ice melts, the water level does not change. As the liquid water fills the space, the ice displaces. We talked about that. Again, paragraph 9, at the late winter period, on or around after February 14th was added. There are no changes that we have on 4 or 5. On 6, we added H. Snowfall and. I brought up the fact that usually it was. Thought that an inch of rain gave 4 inches of lake level. I was corrected. So there's a note, the difference between the total rainfall amount and the runoff amount is the runoff ratio. The runoff ratio can vary from 10% to 95%, depending on the above factors. That was how much saturation we'd had prior to that storm. It could have been frozen level in the ground. If we got a large rainstorm and stuff, we get a lot more runoff because it wouldn't be settling in the ground. So there's a couple of areas there. That was good. And finally, managing number 17, and managing the lake levels, the town of Columbia is exercising its best discretion and judgment based on science and experience to attempt to minimize the risk of damage or loss to dock structures, lake walls, watercraft, and environmental matters. However, lake and ice levels are inherently unpredictable and may fluctuate due to weather conditions and operational requirements. And on the bottom, the last line, the town of Columbia and its agents are protected by the doctrine of sovereign and governmental immunity. Bottom line is, we get fooled every now and then by Mother Nature. You know, it happens. We can't be held responsible when we make a decision to say, close the gate, let the start rising, and bottom line is a storm comes in, it drops 4 inches of rain. We'll do our very best to make sure we take care of the lake, okay? So these are the changes. Does anybody recall or have any other?
Much bigger.
Okay. So I move to approve the Lake Management Advisory Commission's proposed changes to the Columbia Lake Dam water level control policy as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. New business. The Columbia Lake Association has requested to host an antique boat show as part of this year's 250th anniversary celebration on June 6th this year from 4 to 7 p.m. Can anybody here kind of talk to me about that a little bit? Mary?
Mary Reichel, 34 Downey Road. I'm actually representing Martha Carter, 34 Downey Road, who is on her way. I can tell you the perspective from LMAC in the minutes and why this is now in front of the Board of Selectmen. So 2 minutes. In February of 2026 at the LMAC meeting, the CLA proposed this antique boat show. There was much discussion, and the minutes will reflect that, with pros and cons if we were to allow boats from non-residents against a town ordinance and or increased horsepower beyond the town ordinance on the lake. Because of the timing issue, we asked Phyllis Dunn and Martha Carter, CLA, representing Phyllis, representing the 250th, to work this out. In the interim, there was some miscommunications, and a letter was sent to you from the CLA to the Board of Selectmen via Steve Everett, stating that the CLA board had met and that the CLA board were very concerned in protecting and preserving the lake, which was their lake, to host an event that would support the 250th and yet not have any violation of the town ordinance. The letter that you had received from the CLA, I believe it was in February, stated that. That was considered a miscommunication by the 250th because they thought they had already reached an agreement allowing for exemptions. So you know this was discussed again in the March LMAC meeting. LMAC has no official motion or advice to the Board of Selectmen for the following reason. If you accept the CLA with no town ordinances being violated, which is their recommendation for a wonderful antique lake boat show, and people from non-residents could bring their boats to be displayed on land, which is very typical of boat shows, display on land, display on the water, then the LMAC does not have to be involved because there's no violation, no exemptions of town ordinances. If you choose to have an exemption, LMAC would ask that you have LMAC discuss and advise the Board of Selectmen officially. There is no official motion. This is now a CLA presentation and the 250. Phyllis, is that?
Yeah, what occurred is that at the 250, we were looking to bring in boats that had over horsepower because of their uniqueness. When I originally talked to the rec department, they did not want to display any boats on land because of the issue with parking. And because the CLA has agreed to have a food truck and a band, that would also limit the area for displaying these boats. It is my understanding that, we could go for a one-day exemption, but the CLA clearly does not want to have a one-day exemption on this. So the boats that would be coming that are over horsepower would just go into the lake, be around the lake, and then leave the lake immediately. But they would not be going over horsepower. It would be the parade. So when we had the meeting at 250, they had thought that there was going to be an agreement that we would allow those boats for a one day. Obviously, that is not the case at this point in time. So the boats that would be coming are not going to come because they're not just going to come and have their boats displayed at the rec park. So that's where we stand right now. So Martha has written a letter, I believe, to you, Steve, February 23rd, I think she sent that letter stating that the CLA would do the parade, but with not having those boats there. And if they did come, they'd have to be on land to be observed. So that's where we stand on
Okay,
it.
so let me ask you some questions, because I read the letter and I said, no, everything has to go before the board of selectmen. So. And I couldn't verbalize as well as you just done, so I appreciate it. How many boats are you talking about, Phyllis, that would be coming from out of the area?
2 extra boats.
2 boats. And are they so big they're gonna displace the water line, or what kind of boats are they?
They're Chris Crafts, they're antique Chris Craft boats.
Okay, now it's the same boat that Mary has,
Similar to,
similar.
Yeah. Ours is under.
I understand that, I didn't say anything about and the horsepower doesn't even, because it's a little late, and if they mess up, we'll be right there when they take the boat out. Or maybe we'll just confiscate the boat, I don't know. But I'll work with the state trooper on it. But the fact is, so how many Chris Craft boats would you have if we allow them? Is that what
Yeah.
you're looking at?
There are 3 currently owned and on Columbia Lake by Columbia residents.
They're all under pound? So you opened that up, your honor,
Sorry.
okay, she opened it up.
As far as I'm aware, yes, I
Okay.
can say that, Glenn Keegan's, Jerry Krause's, and ours.
And you want 2 more?
yes, originally, we had asked for the other 2 boats to come in. But because they were over horsepower, that was the issue.
Well, that's not the only issue, we're trying to keep invasive species out of our lake also,
Correct.
so.
There were 2 issues. The 2 boats, as we understood it from Glenn Keegan, were non-residents. And we have a residency requirement to have boats on this lake. I'm doing the best I can, but I will refer you to a letter of March 24th. That was, I believe, sent today. I'm not sure, Jennifer, if you got it. With the CLA's rationale, not only currently, but future, if we were to set a precedent and ignore rule of law, town ordinances. That could we then have this be, okay, we'll have a fisherman's tournament or a water skiing event or other non-residents wanting to use the lake. So there was concern not only currently for the town ordinances that exist, but in the future. And that letter with the information, I think, was sent today. So I would ask the board to review that. If you consider an exemption and have LMAC also review that and provide, LMAC provide advice.
Sometimes I hate when somebody throws logic into a problem.
I have a question. So are we talking about a parade of 5 boats?
Whether it's 1 or 5 or 20.
I mean, we mentioned there's 2 boats that are coming from another town and then 3 that are, I mean, 5, give me a scope of what this is gonna be.
Assuming all 3 participate, yes.
Yes.
Is that just the show the 5 crisscross style boats?
Well, those are the power boats. I don't know about any other antique boats that are coming in from town. I know that I had gave Martha a lady's name to call for antique boats. And she was gonna contact them, but they're town residents, as far as I know. The boats that are coming out of town, and the only reason that we are asking, or originally asked for this, is because it was the 250th. So that was our committee's thinking of the 250th. Gee, this is something different. We'll do this one time and that would be it. It's not something that would happen year after year. And I understand CLA, obviously. I mean, I was on the board for a number of years. And I understand the concern of the lake. When I spoke with Jake, originally, he said as long as everything complies with our launching guidelines, he did not have a problem with that. But originally, he had said to me he would prefer not to have anybody on land because it's going to be a busy weekend.
I understand.
So that's just where we stand.
I know Martha spoke with Jake subsequent to that, and I'd ask that you would ask Jake for his input and understand that there may be a balance to that. I was not privy to that conversation.
So the truth of it is, I don't. Jake, all he would do is make a recommendation to the board here, and we would decide. We make some decisions here, so I don't know how many boats we're talking about. If you're talking about 3 in the water and 2 on the land. But they don't wanna just be on the land, the other 2 boats, they wanna be in the water.
You know, they don't
Okay.
want to come the
And we-
distance.
Okay, and we don't have any idea how many other boats would be showing up from out of the area that would agree to staying on the land, correct?
Yeah.
So we have no problem with property right now until somebody tells us how many boats it's gonna be. Right? So, I went to a boat show in New London, New London. Down in Mystic, I'm sorry. I had a little walk through, got a lot on my mind. Down in Mystic, and it was fantastic, and every boat was on land. So, yes, it does happen that way, so, so what is our ask here tonight? That we allow the 2 boats on the water?
Well, yes, I believe that that is the consideration that we had originally asked for. But when the CLA had their meeting, they said no because of the ordinances and they didn't want to open up the door to have outside boats on the lake.
Yeah, so that would be the CLA's recommendation.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, Rob.
It seems like, I get, the idea sounds pretty good when you first think about it, but we have a possibility of a 3 boat parade. And then we're supposed to have a band and stuff. It seems like if we were gonna do something to really celebrate, it probably should be at Rec Park and the boats should be on dry land. If that's not doable, I don't really, I mean, like I'm gonna stand on the beach and see some boats go by. And maybe it's good if you own a cottage on the lake and you can watch it, but for a good percentage of the people there aren't gonna see the parade. And I don't know if it's, you know, it sounds really good, but then it doesn't sound like it's that big a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure where the band came in.
I know someone said that.
No, I heard it,
No.
I heard it, but I didn't know it was gone that far.
Yes, there's a band. Martin talked to Chris, Fulton Highway, and they're going to play.
Oh, Trumbull Highway,
Yeah,
okay.
so Trumbull Highway will be there, and I believe Twin Peaks is gonna be there.
Twin Peaks.
I think the CLA is ready.
Twin Peaks, what?
Peaks.
The pink or beast? Oh, beast is the chicken place.
The chicken.
Food, okay.
We're looking into a food option.
Yeah,
Is the CLA sponsoring the band? I don't.
yes. Yes,
But
Yeah.
I'm not.
so this, and John Pyries did a beautiful, where is he? He's over there. He did a nice design on the antique boat parade anyway for the 250th.
Yeah.
I don't know if he sent it over yet or not, but
Okay,
whichever it is, he designed that for the boat parade. We don't know how many more boats are coming in.
all right.
Can I suggest? I think that an alternative has been offered that no one has really thought about. We should have CLA and 250th continue to work, come up with what's the best solution or the best event that is going to support the celebration of the 250th. I've provided the CLA's perspective that, you know, violating currently or future, has some likelihood of consequence. And, we certainly respect and all want to celebrate the 250th and what it means, the Declaration of Independence for the people and by the people. That's what we're here for. So perhaps table this and have the CLA continue to work with the 250th. If LMAC has to get involved, we would only provide advice if it's a town ordinance is being violated or exempted.
Anybody else on the board?
Just haven't had enough time seeing five boat parade in my brain, but
We're doing.
I mean, I'm not against the boat
Well,
or boat parade, but I don't think we can call boats on land a parade. I think that's
Well, I gotta tell you,
yeah.
I've seen a picture somewhere with, I think it was 5 Chris Craft running, you know, in a line abreast. Like, just awesome, okay?
We didn't have Chris Crafts 250 years ago. Or gasoline
I
powered.
think the idea
Boat
of
engine.
the idea of the 250 though is to celebrate all of American history over
Right,
the last
yes.
250
Right,
years,
not just right.
yeah, not just
Right.
just the revolution,
Nonsense.
because that would be a very big boat to put in the lake.
Yeah.
Or canoes.
We can do it that way, yeah.
I think it does.
So you're gonna have to bring us more. Check with, you know, if you're gonna get people to bring antique boats and put them on the parking lot area. It's a small parking lot. I mean, hopefully, if you get boats, it's probably not more than 8. But see what happens. I mean, we could, what is the date?
June 6th.
Okay, we could park them all up at Rec Park. And have it up there. I mean, you're right. I mean, it doesn't have to be on the water. And it is our glorified lake, our glorified pond over there, doesn't have a lot of open spaces where, you know, you can go down and stand there and watch. So. What? You wanna say something?
No, we have a meeting set up for April 14th.
Yeah.
At the 250 anyway with the CLA and the committee.
Okay, so at that point, you could have rough numbers on maybe boat attendance. You know, let them know if. You know, they're gonna show up, even though they can show their beautiful boat on land. You know, I don't, okay,
Got it.
we'll push that off. Everybody okay?
Thank you.
Great, thank you. They are a hell of a boat though, seeing 5 of them going in a line abreast through the lake is. Kind of sharp. Okay. We have the rates in here again. Yes. Old business and under what? Under old business, under new business? Some of it's new. All right, so I move to approve the fee increases for beach passes, boat and kayak slips and racks facilities usage for Yeoman's Hall and the Becker Senior Center, and the transfer station stickers effective immediately. And increase for the building permits effective July 1st, as proposed on March 10th, 2026, Board of Selectmen meeting. So turn to new business after the green paper in there, you'll see what we talked about. Just the first page. Any questions? Discussion?
We addressed it last time, so I'm comfortable.
Yeah, this is fine.
That's why I'm asking for discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, thank you. Next, I move to approve the fees increases for the recreational program. Oh, too many fees. I move to approve the increases in the recreation program fees and facilities usage fee for the beach and rec park pavilions. Okay, so the rec director said we take a look, and he's going up minimally for recreation classes and rentals and leagues that we have, and the pavilion usage, beach, lower pavilion at rec park, and the upper pavilion at rec park. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay. So, discussion on the Freedom 250 truck mobile museum. All right. I'm gonna ask Paul Zader to explain what this is. Paul. Tell him your name and address and then your position.
Paul Zader, I live at 353 Route 87. I'm on the Columbia American 250 committee, along I co-chair it with Judy. Very excited about this truck. Bring it to Columbia. It's one of 6 national trucks put together by the library and museum and a bunch of government entities and media outlets. So it's a completely free interactive exhibit on America's founding, and is part of the national official national 250th anniversary celebration. It will be open to everyone. It's paid by a federal grant, focuses on the Declaration of Independence, the Revolutionary War time of our history, which belongs to all Americans. I'd like at this time, Mark, if you want to play a short video, it's a nice intro to what the truck looks like and some of the things that are on it. Then, Steve, after the video, if you have questions on that.
Thank you. You see it okay over there?
So it's just a short intro to the truck. It's a 80-foot trailer.
Washington DC
Yeah.
is one of America's oldest federal institutions.
Pacific Escape.
Among its vast collection, many materials date back to our nation's
So
founding.
the crowd driven this way.
I've come here to see two books that offer
Hit
very
pause down.
different views of the early United States.
Stop in the middle of the screen is.
There you go.
Stop it.
So as you can tell, the truck is huge. It expands to over 1,000 square feet inside. It's a little smaller than my house, not the bigger, but the plan is to have it parked here in the library's parking lot. June 5th, 6th, and 7th. I'm open to questions from the board on any other particulars, but that's pretty much it. It's a nice national museum on wheels. It's it's gonna be a great experience for our kids, our students, schools, libraries, museums, historical societies, you name it. They're all gonna get invited, colleges, universities. I have big plans.
What does that entail for the town?
It doesn't cost the town anything. A little safety with maybe some parking. People most likely, I'm envisioning it pretty big. A lot of people are gonna come to town. They'll be parking probably most likely at the school and walking over. I'd like to have vendors on the green and bands, food trucks, whatever, you know, I'd like it to be big for the town. And the region. I mean, we have a huge Revolutionary War history. And based on, I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. You go down the street to Lebanon, you go over to Scotland, Samuel Huntington, Trumbull. I mean, it's just, what a great spot to bring something like this to the region, so.
What is the dates?
5, 6.
5, 6, and 7th of June.
Paul, I know the answer to this, but just so you can clarify
Yes,
for the whole board, can you give kind of the history behind this sort of? Cause I know in 76, they had a similar program that came down to, can you kind of explain like?
well, I was only 12 at the time.
No,
So I
but
don't
you
know,
know the
I
history
didn't-
behind the past, what they've done in the past, this is
Well,
not.
in the past, had bicentennials, I mean, I remember a little bit about the bicentennial in 1976. I guess they had a freedom train. I honestly, I don't know where any background on that, to be honest with you. I'd have to look that up myself, but sure, Ingrid should add to that.
Norwich, Meriden,
Yeah,
and along the coast.
yeah, so, and this year, they even have a plane that's gonna be visiting.
Well, Paul, you didn't, I have a couple of letters here from people who are. Not so excited about the truck coming here, actually don't want to get right. Tell me about PragerU at Hillsdale College.
PragerU is they're not a university, they're a media outlet, that creates entertaining educational material, for kids, right up until adults. Their programs, their videos are used throughout the country, in a number of states to supplement, some schools' curriculum.
In Hillsdale College,
Hillsdale College is a conservative Christian college that is very much involved with the history of our country, Constitution. Very highly respected college in the country.
okay.
I'll talk more on that, but that's
Rob,
just.
you had a question?
Well, first of all, I did see something where this is a pretty high-tech building, it needs a lot of electricity. I'm assuming they'll be plugging into our electricity, so he said there's no cost, there'd be some costs. Unless they're bringing generators, which maybe, that didn't, I
Rob,
don't know.
that's, if you don't mind, Rob, that's a great question, and I'm still waiting, I haven't emailed the project manager yet on that question. They are looking for power if there's more than 24 hours of usage. Over 8 days, so I'm pretty sure that the truck is self-sufficient, but I have to clarify that.
Okay, I have another question. We're given this Freedom 250 truck mobile exhibit some examples here. There's down the bottom, how does Freedom 250 task force differ from original American 250? So American 250 was created by a bipartisan act of Congress in 2016.
Where are you reading?
This is, I don't know what page, it's the last page in our section. In there. Yeah, it's,
Okay,
yeah, it's black, but I'm not sure exactly. Oh, pull it, this, Leslie Pulis, I'm sorry. Said this. And she says, America 250 is created by bipartisan act of Congress in 2016. It is led by historians, archivists, nonpartisan board with the goal of bringing most inclusive university in history. Okay, that's not what we're dealing with. But we're dealing with Freedom 250, created in 2025 by executive order. It is a more centralized executive-led task force to utilize partisan content creators to emphasize specific ideological and religious narrative. While both are official for the federal level, American 250 represents a long-term bipartisan plan developed by historians and librarians. Freedom 250 is newer ideological specific initiative designed to promote particular viewpoint. Hosting a Freedom 250 truck aligns the town with lighter specific partisan mission rather than the board inclusive mission of the original commission. Like this is, she's in the inclusive group or something in town.
Well, I wrote as an individual citizen, but I am a member of code.
Okay, so
you're Leslie?
Yeah.
Hi, Leslie.
So I mentioned this, PragerU was a name I just found about 2-3 days ago. I don't know who they are or what they are, at least I didn't. But I talked to people, we'll have demonstrators here. There'll be people who don't like this group at all. So it's gonna be a Zoom. I mean, I know everything I've heard makes a lot of sense. It probably could be a really good thing. But it's not just some group of people who want to present American history. It's a group of people who want to present a bipartisan, partisan view of America.
Leslie, when you went and saw this,
No, I haven't seen
Well,
it
you
because it
haven't seen
hasn't
it.
been anywhere in this area. It's mostly been in the south.
so
PragerU is located in Oklahoma.
how do you know this then?
How do I know this? Because this information?
Yeah.
Because it's available. I did the research to find out. If you look up the America 250 Commission, it'll tell you that it was created by Congress
Okay.
and that Freedom 250 was an executive order in the last year.
Okay,
And if you look at the information that I gave you, you can see the mission of PragerU and Hillsdale College, which are, even though the Institute for Museum and Library Services, which is a federal agency, it's very small right now because it was mostly gutted last year. And the director was replaced with the acting secretary of labor, or as an acting director, the assistant secretary of labor. The IMLS gave money for this to the Freedom 250 group, and they asked PragerU and Hillsdale to do the content. So the majority of content, the videos especially, the interactive stuff, was all done by these organizations. And PragerU's mission is it's edutainment, it promotes Judeo-Christian values, a pro-American viewpoint. The CEO said that she wanted to give the experience to people today who want to truly know what's going on and not learn about what America looked like based on an interpretation of some woke agenda. And they also have talked about the importance of religious education in schools, that schools have gone downhill since Bibles aren't in the schools anymore. One of the pieces on the exhibit centers around the Aiken Bible. So while there is content that is certainly about people, places, and events of the American Revolution, clearly you could see from the video, within the truck, there is branding for PragerU underneath, and it was visible in the video, underneath displays. And at the end of every video, there's PragerU. Hillsdale was involved. I don't know if the Hillsdale College videos are on the truck. From what I could see, I'm guessing that some of the battles and events were done, those videos were done by that, because those are on the America 250, I mean, not the America 250, sorry. They're on the White House Freedom 250 website, and Hillsdale produced a lot of those videos. PragerU also produced a lot of AI videos about the founders, the signers, etc. I'm a research librarian, so I've done a lot
And
of,
I'm still waiting
looking
for the
at
bad
videos.
part about it.
Oh, well, first of all, the missions, and then I think the other letter does explain, and I can talk briefly that while it's basically promoting a view of history that is very positive, which is not a bad thing, but it's omitting more nuanced history. It's omitting people like indigenous people, African American people. There might be a few on there, but for the most part, that might have been involved in, for example, the regiments in Massachusetts and New England, the African American regiments, and specifically, I can give you a few examples. The AI generated biographies have some historical omissions, while they certainly talk about the wonderful genius of Thomas Jefferson, George Washington. They failed to mention their roles as slaveholders.
I understand that. But
There's a
that-
lot of religious content. They're coming from a religious point of view.
There's a lot of people in the history of the country
Mhm.
that have done wrong things. They've done a lot of great things, but
Right.
they've done some wrong things.
Mhm.
I've got a number of them in my head in the last 50 years when they should have known better.
Right.
They truly should have known better. And these people should have known better too. But this country, from the leadership from its origin and before, without seeing that, how can you make a judgment? And every night when something goes off the air, I see Nesson, I see CBS, everybody who does their marketing to get stuff out there, you can see it on it. So if you see PragerU down there, if you haven't seen it, where is it coming from? Where is this truck that we can
So
send?
I can tell you that on the PragerU video site, which is, so I don't know, we know some of the video that might be on there. We don't really, it hasn't been completely vetted, the information on the truck. But if you look at the PragerU videos that they produce, they're highly partisan. And I know that there are other people in the audience who can speak to some of the sort of misinformation or misleading information that is on some of the content, for example, in the virtual vault. I don't know if someone else would like to
They
comment.
have to ask, hold on, yes.
So I just wanna kind of speak to this a little bit. We're talking about a truck. So, just my background for anyone that isn't aware, I have a history background. I'm a history teacher, a history professor for UConn through their adjunct program. And I have my doctorate in media literacy. So just kind of give you a little background on that, but, you can only fit so much content on a truck.
Absolutely.
Any exposure that you can get for people to interact with history is good exposure. I know that we're saying it wasn't vetted, but it's vetted by multiple federal organizations that include historians, librarians, archivists, and the like. I 100% support the lack of support for PragerU. I understand that there are people who don't appreciate PragerU. I think the dislike for the media organization that was hired does not dictate, does not dictate the material that's on this particular vehicle coming around. There are multiple perspectives on it. You could see that even in the video, but I had done some more research at the last time. I went to the 250 meeting in her, but there's multiple perspectives on there. It's a national museum truck. So looking specifically for African American regiments in Massachusetts might be there's not a lot of room on there to be looking for one specific regiment, but you do have multiple perspectives. You have African American and indigenous perspectives on that particular museum. So I have an issue with, I understand the ideological concerns about the media company. But if we're looking at the content and exposing the community to historical content that is very valuable for the 250, it's an extremely valuable opportunity for the town of Columbia to have this visit. So that's just kind of where I am with that. I've done a little research on this, but also just have a background in the revolutionary history of the area as well. And it is represented in there.
I don't
I didn't see it. I mean, I saw Phyllis Wheatley and I saw their gallery of heroes, but I don't. I don't know how you would know that it's in there because when I looked at the videos that are present on the Freedom 250 site, which is the ones that were produced by Hillsdale, there was one on women. And you
Again,
know, I mean, there's like,
it's
and the wall of heroes, the wall of heroes.
She wasn't called upon either, but that's fine. You guys have been talking over everybody, so, but.
Excuse me.
There's been some talking over happening even as Paul was presenting, so, yes, not everybody.
Can we just?
But I don't wanna get into tit for tat,
Judy,
yeah. I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just saying, like, I just think that. It's one thing to be upset with the media company, but to take this opportunity away and allow people to make a decision and to see the historical content coming through. I don't know, I have an issue with that, so like silencing that historical voice is a concern.
Can I
Yes.
respond?
Would you then argue
Your
that
name and
media
address?
companies don't?
I'm sorry, I have to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry, CJ Pool is 29 Doubleday.
Thank you.
Would you then argue that media companies are free of agenda and bias?
No, I don't think anything's free of agenda
Okay.
and bias.
PragerU, as a media company, has a history of this kind of thing, and they are not a university, but of course they heard of themselves a university, so they kind of start from from a lie right there. This much I can tell you, okay? The founding fathers who fought the revolution, the people who signed the Constitution and framed it, would be absolutely 100% against having religious organizations and religious themes in, please don't make a face, okay? In a celebration of our history. Okay? They were generally deists. They were not Christians as you might understand it today. Thomas Jefferson went so far as to excise from the Bible everything he thought was superstition. Okay. Transubstantiation, water and wine into blood and all, so on and so forth. We have documents such as the Treaty of Liberty, where government wrote, the United States is in no ways a Christian nation. Okay. They would be absolutely horrified by this. We have a First Amendment that guarantees that the government stays out of religion. Well, we also have a separation of church and state where religion is supposed to stay out of government. All right. And by the way, if you read the Connecticut Constitution, the section in there, I can read it for you because I have it on my phone, on religious separation is much more stringent, much longer than what is in the national Constitution. So absolutely not. We do not want a religious school and a media outlet with a history of bending things towards an agenda to be determining what history is being shown. So I'm absolutely against it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not against the principle. I am against the implementation, shall we say, because we know things about the people who implemented it.
Yes,
Yes, I have.
state your name, please.
I'm Karen Friedman, 8 Cherry Valley Road. It's my husband, Greg. I have a letter to submit. Can I read it? It's very brief.
Sure.
Okay. Dear members of the Columbia Board of Selectmen, we're writing this letter to the Board of Selectmen to weigh in as the board considers Columbia's 250th committee application to host the Freedom Truck Mobile Museum in Columbia. Teaching a complete history is impossible if the teacher's goal is to promote a specific ideological standpoint, and Hillsdale College and PragerU aren't neutral parties who happen to have an opinion. They have a stated mission to counter what they call leftist education and promote a specific ideological standpoint. The UC Berkeley School of Information's website states PragerU is a nonprofit organization with a mission to, quote, promote American values through the creative use of digital medias, technology, and edutainment, according to their website. It's been criticized for advancing climate denial and slavery apologism, frequently publishes videos critical of wokeness and DEI, and is very concerned about the death of the West. These videos conveniently leave out that Thomas Jefferson owned 600 slaves, one of their many lies of omission. Calling these videos history is worse than teaching children nothing, because the videos purport to teach facts and they do not. Genuine patriotism comes from a complete American history. One viewed with its failures and contradictions, not from sanitizing it. Don't we as citizens don't we want citizens who genuinely understand American history? We need sources whose loyalty is to the evidence, not to a predetermined narrative. PragerU's loyalty is stated clearly and openly, and it's not to the evidence. That's why we are asking the Board of Selectmen not to approve this application.
Steve, the Thursday night before 3-day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the truck will be open to anybody who I'd like to keep it to town officials. But of course, code is invited to come visit the truck and review the truck and then make their own decision from there.
It's too late then.
It's too late, yeah.
No, well, it's not.
It'll be here.
Well, it is, because what do? Say, we don't like this, take off?
No, they can go and tell their counterparts and their
I think you're missing the
people
point.
that,
You're missing the point here.
what is the
The
point?
point is, this is not gonna be what you would like it to be, and I'm fully appreciate everything you said, because I think your heart is in the perfect place where it should be. I think the problem is these people have done bad things to a lot of people in their opinions, And we live in we're not in a partisan era right now. Everybody wants to get on left or right and yell at each other. So we're gonna bring in an organization that's on this side of the wall. I'd say the same thing if it was on that side of the wall. It's not America 250, it's Freedom 250. It was great. It was created a year ago. If we wanted a bipartisan thing, they would have put some money to America 250 and got together some historians by nonpartisan board, come up with something that would tell us all about all the things we want to hear about. I fear, and whether, maybe it's their own, maybe this is what you want it to be. But the problem is, that's not who they are. And a lot of these people here know their history, and they will be, I didn't know anything about it. Got a phone call, oh, well, this PragerU is gonna be coming. There's a guy that works for me in the office. He said, I hate those, bad words.
Yeah.
I'll be there looking at the demonstration. I'll show those, what? So whether they deserve it or not, just anticipate that there'll be more demonstrators and there will be people watching, looking at it if this gets out. And it's just the world we live in. We have a president who believes that divide and conquer, and we have nobody who's trying to pull people together, and that's upsetting and drives us all crazy.
Well,
And this, unfortunately, at least anybody could have been picked. Some neutral media company could have put something together and got some people, got Rachel, she's an historian, have her come here and design these things. I don't know who did this, but it doesn't sound, I saw one little cartoon they did, and they blamed everything that ever happened to black people on Democrats. That's the only thing I've seen that they produced. They went through history. Well, Democrats did this. Well, anybody who knows history, the Democrats and Republicans over the last 250 years have changed places back and forth, left and right, up and down. So a Democrat in 1820 is not a Democrat in 1920 or a Democrat in 2020.
Yes, so
And Republicans, Abraham Lincoln is not represented by Donald Trump. Whether you like him or not, they're not the same person. And that's my fear. I want this to be a wonderful thing. Everybody gets together and thinks about America, how great they are. I just think this particular group is gonna cause problems. That's where I'm in.
John, you got your hand?
Yes, hello, John Pyers, 324 Route 87, right across the street. First, code folks, I just took a moment and read your mission. I agree with everything here in your mission statement and, your brief thing here on Google. Let me just read it to everyone. Mission: promotes diversity, equity, and inclusion through education and community conversation. So with that, I think this has a great opportunity, yes, to tear us apart if it were just maybe the Freedom 250 truck that came through. But I also see this as an opportunity, to bring us together. About 2 months to allow the code folks, how many people are registered in code within the region?
Not very many, probably, well, we serve 5 towns, so there's probably 75 to 80 on our mailing list.
Okay, so that's a good amount of people. That's bigger than the 25th, the 250th committee that we have here. So we look at this as something that we know is going to be big for certain communities that comes through here. I think there's only 6 within the country. Is that correct?
Mhm.
And this is going to be the first one that comes this far northeast.
Mhm.
So what is the population of interest do you believe could come to this?
I think it's huge. Especially since New England has a huge revolutionary history.
Well, I'm talking numbers because I know you've had them in your head.
I don't know the population of New England. But I'm picturing thousands coming.
Oh, my God.
Thousands. Okay.
Thousands.
So let me ask you this.
If we're the only truck coming to New England,
Doesn't make it right.
doesn't make it wrong either.
It does.
So I see this as possibly an opportunity for code to see if possibly at the same time we do the American thing and promote what you believe is being omitted in the Freedom 250th truck. It doesn't necessarily have to take place here. Maybe we do it at the rec park. Maybe we do it somewhere else. I'd still like to have it here in my neighborhood because I live right here across the street. But I see this again as an opportunity for the freedom for our families of this community to actually touch and learn a little bit more about our American history. And I see this as an opportunity wasted if we don't have the freedom to think.
Yes, no, yes, in the back.
Catherine Road, 27 Lake Road. This is supposed to be a celebration. Like a huge birthday party. If you have crazy Aunt Millie that you know creates problems, even though she's part of the family, and you're gonna have this giant party where you want people to come and enjoy and be part of it and celebrate, she's not invited. Because you know it's gonna create dissension. This is inviting major dissension in our community. Period. It's not about the history, which we all love in this area. And we have so much magnificent history in this area that we do celebrate. We have wonderful exhibits at our local colleges with that history. There is the information there, but you don't invite something that you know is going to create problems in this community, and it's going to. It's absolutely going to. Why create a storm when you don't need to? Celebrate another way. Thank you.
You had your hand up, man, you wanna talk, or,
Ron, we can go first.
well, actually, I'll decide.
Oh,
Go ahead.
all right. I want me to-
Go ahead, Rhonda.
You know, I appreciate, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
John.
John, I appreciate what you said, John. Thank you. And I was welcoming.
name and your.
Oh, sorry, Rhonda Kincaid, 8 Basket Shop Road. Thank you. And I appreciate, you know, the thought of an opportunity for our community conversation. And I appreciate what you said, Rachel, in terms of, you know, the history. And I understand this is a really well-intended, you know, it's very exciting to think about. I'm here representing code, but I'm gonna say on a personal note, you know, we moved to Columbia, found it very welcoming. It's one of the reasons we moved to Columbia. I think, you know, we made our concerns known in our letter from code. I think it's, you know, code is a nonpartisan organization. We work really hard to keep politics out of our meetings. And we don't really have, our issue is not whether there's a presidential stamp on this. Our issue is really with the people who have, the organizations that have done the content. And I think that I understand the point you're trying to make, Rachel, and I respect your background as a historian. I don't know if it's possible to separate the content, which we still don't really know what all is there. We have some pictures, some video, we can kind of see some of the people represented. We don't know what's said about them. We don't know that content. We can't separate the content easily from the sponsors and the people who wrote it. And from what we've seen on the websites, what we've seen from the videos and the materials that the two organizations that did the majority of the content, it's not welcoming to everybody in town. We have people in town who aren't Christian, people in town who are all political parties, and the sponsoring content creators have said very clearly that they have a very partisan point of view, and they're coming from a very Judeo-Christian point of view. I don't think that makes everyone. That's not something that the town puts its, what's the word, imprimatur stamp on it. The town is really saying, we endorse those organizations. And that I don't think is welcoming to the rest of the people in town. I don't think it represents what we want Columbia to be presenting to other people. If thousands of other people come to town and say, well, this is the town that likes what PragerU and Hillside stand for. So, you can't tell all the details of history. I really understand that. There's always choices of what to include and what not to include. And sometimes what you don't include is just as important as what was included. But we'd really like to see the community have a balanced view presented. So that, it's not informed by some kind of partisan or religious background agency. And that it's balanced and that it really welcomes everybody. So, thank you.
You're not gonna snooker me, are you? I'm calling you.
Ruth Coordinate Basket Shop. So my concern is we cannot vet it. There's no way for anybody in this room to vet what's on that truck. They can tell us these promotional videos, but we can't watch them. We can't see for ourselves. You can't put one up and then have a discussion about what they're saying and whether we agree or not agree or think it's Columbia's values. If they could send us what kids and adults would watch and we would agree as a group, well, that is educational, it's supportive, it's fair. That's one thing. That's not what's happening. You cannot find what's on that truck. You can't even find what the people who are on there are going to tell people when they're on the truck. I don't know why that has to be hidden. I don't understand why they just can't show. These are the things that are going to be on the truck. Why not? What's the problem with letting people see on their website what's going to be there? It shouldn't be a secret.
It's not a secret.
Yes, it is. We could right
If you
now
go-
bring up the website. You will not be able to
If you
find.
go on whitehouse.org, I believe that's the site, or quote me. They have Hillsdale videos on there you can watch. YouTube has plenty of PragerU videos you can watch. If you've downloaded the Prager app, and you can go on there and read all and look at all their information. The problem the whole right and left thing has gotta go away. Something has got to unify us,
This is enough.
or we are gonna get crushed as a nation.
That's right.
We are absolutely, no, I'm talking, thank you, my time. We are gonna get crushed if we don't find some kind of common. I can sit down with any one of you and find something in common we all have, that we love about this country. What's wrong with this truck? Because of media company? If you have a problem with the media company and some of their videos, write to the media company, straighten them out, and have them fix their stuff.
That's not.
Well, all right, well, then if it's not gonna happen, come look at the truck.
Why can't we see?
Why
what's on
can't,
there?
why can't,
Wait, pause. Thank you for your comment.
all right, thanks,
Those- we
Steve.
have been to those sites. We have looked at those videos that you say you've looked at. There is a clear bias.
Okay,
Thank you for your comment.
thank you.
Ingrid.
Thanks, Steve. I want to follow up on what John Pires, my neighbor, said, and also what you just said. I'm troubled if we are denied the opportunity, okay? And I don't like PragerU, okay? I'll be real clear, I'm not for PragerU. However, I'm an individual. I'm also a town historian. And the thing is, I want to be able to make up my own mind, whether this is good, bad, indifferent, junk, history, or something I need to write somebody about, okay? I want to make up my own mind, not have somebody tell me what to think. And call that a libertarian point of view, maybe. But that's what we are as individuals. That's what the Declaration of Independence is about. And the fact is, I would like to see the truck. I would like to see the exhibit. We haven't been able to vet it, but yet I've looked at all the videos that Paul mentioned. I sent them, some of them to you. I've looked at the stills. And a lot of this is motherhood and apple pie. And maybe it's not popular anymore. But the fact is, there's some innovative ways of describing history through animation I've not seen before, and I would like to see it. So I'd like to make up my own mind, and I'd like everybody in Columbia to have that opportunity and not be denied that opportunity. That's my point of view. Thank you.
The young lady behind you, because you've already spoken, sir, and I'll come back to you. Yes, that's you.
Thank you for the young. In addition to all of this, sorry, Nancy Hammerstrom, 5 Oakwood Lane. In addition to all of this, does Columbia have the infrastructure to host thousands of people? That's my question.
Thank you.
Let's think about that in addition to this very lively and interesting debate.
Having a hotel.
I'm worried about that.
We got Route 6 motel, sir.
Have you ever stayed there?
We're on the, no.
We all look at our homes
Yes, sir.
for someone of the opposite ideology.
Yes, thank you. Rick Friedman, 8 Cherry Valley Road. I would say, well, first of all, I'm ardently opposed to this truck. And it is not denying people information. If you want to watch PragerU videos, go online and have at it, but they're on YouTube. You don't need to, our town does not need to sponsor this thing. It is extremely biased. I can't speak more eloquently than some of these other people have. But it's extremely biased. And history should not be that way. You know, it should be, if it's presented the right way, it doesn't favor left or right. And this one, I mean, if none of us have seen the truck, but given the sources, the people who put this thing together, we know which way it's going to cut. And it's very divisive, as has been pointed out. Why can't we just have a different source? Why does it have to be this thing? This so-called freedom truck pushed by Donald Trump? And why can't it be a more inclusive, America 250 kind of thing, instead of this?
But the problem, I understand what you're saying, sir, but we haven't seen it.
Right.
We haven't seen it. So everybody, including me, has not seen it except for the video. Okay. But to be honest with you, I do like some freedom of speech. I drive by the lady and her friends out here every day, telling people who should go to hell and who shouldn't. And, it's a little bit rough, but she has freedom of speech and we allow it. We allow.
Excuse me, sir, that is a gross distortion.
You haven't seen the sign where she's
Go to hell.
She has said
Telling
that.
people to go to hell.
She has, sir. I have a picture. Okay, so that's fine.
If I may.
But the bottom line is, we do have freedom of speech, and we do have the ability, freedoms to make up our own mind. And like Ingrid said, maybe some people would like to see it. And maybe we'd like to walk through and go, let me tell you, I'll use Joe and my son's name, Joe, this is nice, but it's not the whole truth. See this gentleman here? He owns 600 slaves. He, but yet, when he wrote the Declaration of Independence, maybe something in there, and it could have been his belief or non-belief, I don't care. Personally, I kind of like it. You might bring a little religion back or Christianity, but it says, maybe he said all people, because he felt a little guilty. Okay, I don't know. But some of the things that this country was founded on, freedom of speech and the right to think for yourself. You know,
I agree, there's lots to celebrate there.
but without seeing it, and I do have a problem not being able to see it. You're right. Why are they hiding something? And just like when Paul got up here, I wanted him to mention that it was PragerU and Hillsdale College, because that's being forthright. Okay, so thank you. He has a broken bill, tell me.
I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I'm glad that we can all be on the same page. But I want to start off by saying that I've been on this board since 2009, and I've said it before at the board meetings, and I've said it before different times, that I was always happy that this town could, the boards could work together on a bipartisan basis, where the fact that we can work together and we can solve problems. You know, and one of the things I always pointed out is that, you know, things may be crazy at the state capitol and things may be crazy in Congress, you know, but at least in our town, you know, we can all come to on a committee and draw upon our own experiences and come up with solutions to problems. What concerns me about this is that it's polarizing. You know, and the problems that are on the national and state government level have now filtered down to our small town. What concerns me is that we're talking about thousands of people here. This is already, the truck hasn't even pulled into the library parking lot. And already it's polarizing the town. And you know, I want to credit the 250 committee this year for all your hard work. I thought the gala was an excellent thing there. I thought it was, everybody got along well. This is the kind of thing that I would expect from the community. It's stuff that's uniting. This is going to divide. This is very divisive. You're going to have a lot of, as Rob pointed out, I think you're going to have demonstrations and you're going to have a lot of angry people. You know, one way or the other. Is that how we want to remember Columbia's celebration of this special moment? You know, we talked about certain issues that have come up. You know, I mean, there is separation of church and state as a principle that we have to keep about, and I would say that this is being injected into it a certain degree here. I guess that's all I have to say, but I'm not comfortable supporting this.
So I just want to tag on to the, when Nancy said, do we have the infrastructure to handle this? Did you see me? What was I doing? Shaking my head, no, we do not. We absolutely do not. Paul,
My vision might be a little hot.
you're walking back now, so
I'm just saying,
I don't even care if it's 500 people. That it's
over 3 days.
Go ahead.
I'm just, sorry, Steve.
You know, as much as I believe in the freedom of speech, as much as I would like to see this here, I will tell you, wherever it is, I will go see it. Because I am free to make up my own mind, because I have served to be able to have you all do the same. And I hope you would go there and you would say, it's right, it's wrong, or, you know, it needed this. It was a smoke show and it was BS. Whatever, make up your own mind, go see it. But everybody here has praised it or lambasted it without even seeing it. But I am concerned about the small town of Columbia being able to handle an influx of 200 to 500 people a day. We couldn't put it here. There's no way we could put it here. I'd have to bring in state police for traffic control. Our fire department would be on all hands on deck for 10 hours a day at least. We could settle this right now. If it was to us, I'd say we can't handle this. But absolutely, please let everybody know where it's going to be, because you should go there. See whatever history represents, what you don't like. We have made a lot of mistakes in this country, but there's a lot of things on that truck will show that we are a great country. And I too, you know why I couldn't remember why I was in the town meeting tonight? Because my mind I knew that this was going to be a contentious and a bad scene. And I couldn't stop thinking about it, because it's not the America that I know. Honest to God, if I knew this was going to happen, I never would have brought up celebrating the 250 like we have planned to do. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that we're talking like this over something that I'm unsure of. I really am. Yes.
Cause as the co-chair for the 250th, then we've talked about the truck, I don't know, for a couple months, and when we did it, I really didn't know a whole lot about it, and then we did schedule it. And then, then I've learned a lot more about it. And I think at the last meeting, I said I was had some mixed feelings about it. And the more I've learned in the past couple days, I just think it's gonna be divisive. I do not, Paul, I thank you for doing all this stuff, and I know you knew I had some mixed feelings about it. And I've really done a lot of work to see, if I support it or not. And at this point, I don't support it. I think that it's gonna pull people apart. We wanna pull people together. Bill's right. We're very, we're very partisan. And we don't need to be. Most of the committee has been very bipartisan. There's nothing that I can say that's happened that make me think that it's like Democrat or Republicans at all. Paul and I have some good discussions about that stuff. But I believe this truck will pull us more apart. When I look at some videos for PragerU, it's awful. It just gives you some information, some very misinformation that if they're sponsoring, that they're not gonna give the right history. And we can't bet, and that really bothers me. I'd like to make a motion that we not, and have the board of selectmen vote on it, that we not allow the truck to come to Columbia. We discussed it, gonna do with that, but
Would the motion have to be that it's not sponsored by the town of Columbia? Cause I'm not sure, does the board of selectmen have the ability to prevent the truck from coming if it's sponsored by another organization in town?
Well, it's on private property,
but it's not public, and there's gonna be, we're gonna have to pay for police presence.
We're seeing how this is going to pan out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pay for electricity, and it's gonna be, well, like I said, you're not sure if there's a generator. But certainly police presence, I think it's gonna create chaos for the,
So I agree with those concerns, but
I do not, and I think that it's just not giving the right history, when I was in school, I got a lot of stuff that wasn't accurate. I learned stuff, and as I've gotten older, it's, what's real. We should not be teaching inaccurate history to anybody, particularly young people.
Yes. History is not 100%.
I was saying you're never gonna find unbiased anything.
Well, I know, but just it is really.
Jeff.
Jeff Lewis, Fire Chief, Columbia Volunteer Fire Department. So, great presentation. I love listening to everyone's side of this. And when I first saw the video go up, I saw the truck. Not talking politics, not talking university, nothing. And I saw the line of people. I immediately looked forward to him. And I'm like, you wanna put it there? Where are you gonna park the people? Because the school parking lot's gonna fill up. Rec Park, even if you put it up there, it's gonna fill up. Where are you putting these people? I love the idea. I had no idea about who's sponsored or nothing. I saw our country's history and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'd love to take my kids to that. Folks, you can be on either side of the fence you want. That's not my job right now. My job is to look for the safety of this town and how am I going to keep the town safe with an influx of what I saw on the screen. There's no way the town of Columbia can handle it. You know where that thing belongs? Manchester, Buckland Hills Mall. All the parking in the world, have a blast. Big parking lot, big area. We don't have that here. You don't have it in Hebron. You did if you put it at Hebron Harvest Fair and just had the truck in the center and people park in the grass. But from a safety standpoint, I don't know how you can do that here. And that, to me, that's a concern, because then I'm gonna be in the office with these Mark and Steve and the board saying, okay, this is what's gonna cost you for my manpower, because you're talking Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're asking volunteers, and it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna have, besides state police, we're gonna have an ambulance on standby, we're gonna have to have the engine crews on standby, on top of handling all the regular emergencies. So just my thoughts, Steve.
No, sorry, I agree.
I have to look for the town of Columbia safety.
Sorry, I agree.
So,
I guess the only thing I beat a dead horse is, after talking, there are people who are very, I'm new to PragerU. I first heard about 3 days ago. But I talked to people, and there's some, I mean, example would be, it's a poor example, but if the KKK was gonna come here with a thing, some people feel that kind of emotion about this place. And they're gonna come, so you're also gonna have some sort of, keep people, I'm assuming they won't be violent, because most of the things I've seen around here, people have been very respectful. But it still would be another expense controlling any people who want to demonstrate against it. And that's really where I'm coming from. I've come from, boy, it'd be kind of cool to do something, and then realize, why did America 250 do this? And they could say, they have to make it partisan. And as soon as you make it partisan, it makes one of these things. And it's unfortunate, because I think it would have been a great thing, but I won't, if it's up to the board, I won't vote for it.
Yeah, I would vote for you.
Yes, sir.
It's neither a left versus right nor a Republican versus Democrat issue. It's an issue of constitutional separation of church and state, and an issue of ethics, okay? This was all put together by a man, by executive order, not by Congress, unlike previous bicentennial celebrations, okay? We have actors that are known to have an agenda. There's limited information, just what they wanted us to see available on it. And so absolutely not. I mean, basically we have, if elected officials allow it in their town, they are putting their imprimatur, their stamp essentially of approval on it. Okay, if you want to do something historical, why not I don't know, invite some history professors from UConn or ECSU, or I'd love to see a constitutional professor.
Well, we have,
Talk about it, but
yeah, I've heard
with
this.
debates and with
Yeah.
back and forth, okay, and not simply one person giving one point of view. The Trump administration lies as easily as breathing, okay? They promote this, wait a minute, no, listen. If we know how they promote the war with memes, okay, with memes and cartoons blowing things up. I don't expect anything more accurate from PragerU
Thank you.
or Hinsdale County.
Yes. Yes, Mayor.
I'd like to build on the unintended consequence that's just been described by Jeff, and I think Nancy asked the question of the infrastructure. When we make decisions, and I think the Board of Selectmen does an excellent job of that, it's not just the issue of, and I'm not on either side, this is the first time I've heard of the truck. It's the issue of the unintended consequences. What is the safety issue with hundreds or thousands of people? What is the indirect cost of police, fire, et cetera? And frankly, if this is polarized, and the likelihood seems to be it can become polarized, what is the public relations and publicity of the town of Columbia celebrating the 250th, and we're in the Chronicle with protesters against whatever. And that's so unfortunate. So I would hope you weigh heavily on the unintended consequences. I have no stake in what's been said here. I'd have to really look into it and research it. Thank you.
So Chief, based on your expertise, we can't handle that?
no, not even close. You don't have a police department, so you are looking at hiring multiple police officers. I mean, you can ask the resident tomorrow. You're gonna put an ambulance on standby for 3 days, and you're gonna put an engine crew on standby for 3 days. That's just the bare minimum, because if I go back and I have to start doing research what this vehicle is pulling, and it's more than what our population is 5,280 last I knew. We don't have the manpower for it.
Thank you. Last comment?
Paul Zader, 353 Route 87. This doesn't have to be advertised to all of New England. I can have 20 people come a day. They don't get. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe I was a little over ambitious. But.
I do think it'll get around because this is the only one in Connecticut.
Okay.
But there's another.
I think the internet would make sure of it.
Okay.
It's all.
So, based on safety issues, based on infrastructure, I'm gonna move that we do not allow do not in. How do I say this correctly? She made a motion because she asked her.
I was asking for a clarification of the motion and then it devolved into conversation.
Made a
Yeah.
motion that we not allow the truck, the museum truck to come to Columbia.
Any more discussion from the board? All those in favor?
In favor of not, in favor of not doing
Favor of the motion.
I favor the motion of not letting the truck come.
Okay. I'm gonna vote with that too. The infrastructure can't handle it. Opposed?
I'll go with you guys. For that reason, the infrastructure would be the concern.
I will go see it, but our infrastructure cannot handle it. Thank you. Yes, Ingrid.
Ingrid Wood, 322 Route 87. I will go see it too, because after all, it is American history. Whether we like it or not, it is history in the making. Please understand that. You may disagree with it, and that is your right. Thank goodness.
Is it gonna
We
be
have
there
that.
results?
Thank you.
What?
I understand this is the only place that.
They're making their way across the country, so they just don't, like, we just happen to be the first location, I think, in New England.
Okay,
Okay, good. I might go see it too.
Paul. Steve, I'm sorry for the work you've done. Please, if you could, find out, get a hold of them right away so they can schedule it somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And get the word out where it is and where it'll be, when. So we can make up our own, they'll see it, make up our own minds. So, thank you. 6-4. Operating resolution. Move to approve the authorization resolution on the EMPG grant application for fiscal year 26-27. Same as any. Yeah, this is our emergency management grant that we get.
Oh.
Who's that?
Anyway, here.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
We just a moment to close the door to that.
I'll just bring it up for the. I don't saw it, I don't sign me, John, you know, sign it.
Yes.
It's not on here, but we have.
Especially regarding Emily tax program.
Hold on, we gotta see. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, it is on there. Discussion regarding elderly tax freeze program. It's a little. It's gonna be a tough year, we understand that. 5PAC has a lot before them and, we may be asked to make some really tough decisions on moving forward with how we're spending the town's money. What we will go after and what we may not be able to obtain in equipment or. Capital, restoration of roads and stuff, so. But when I go to the senior center and people say to me. I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time. Heating my house, I'm having a hard time. When I go up and I volunteer for the food truck, the mobile food truck, and the line is, when the truck is at. The senior center, the line is down, going down to the, not quite to the road, but around the curb in the driveway and stuff this long. And I see people there that have been in this town for a long time. So I looked into I actually sent an email to Martin Teft, who got back to me, and he said that we could look into a elderly tax freeze program. There's some criteria that the state has, we're looking into it. I don't know what the threshold is for income, but what the state put out is 80 years of age. They have to have been in the town for 25 years, they can only own one piece of property.
Steve, isn't there something in place like that already?
They're used,
It used to be.
I think it's gone away, they have not reimbursed us in it.
There used to be an elderly tax benefit, but the state stopped funding it.
So we did continue.
Right. But I think,
My question, there was something else where basically you got a break at a certain point in time, but there would be a lien on a person's property. You know, especially for elderly people that at some point in time, it's, you know,
I think
taxes will get paid then.
I think there was.
There was my recollection, let's go back to the nineties.
Yeah, you're kind of ringing a bell, but I'm not sure we've done that. So there is an income limit. You know, a couple of years ago at the town meeting for the budget, we were kind of got a little heated and somebody said, please don't pit us against the seniors in town. And, you know, we need to take care of people who need help taking care of themselves. We buy vehicles to get them to the doctor. We have mobile food come in, but if they can't get to the mobile food because they can't put gas in the car, they don't have a car, you know.
I support the concept, but the question I have is do we have an idea what the actual amount would be?
No. So I'm just bringing this up because I need to do some research.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just bringing this up because I have to look them in the eye and tell them we can help.
I support the theory just to figure out what the rules are.
Okay, so I have the state guidelines, some guidelines here. I need to look into it more and I'll get back to you.
It's a good idea.
All right?
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. Nothing on the lake anymore. Resignations. Rob Helston resigning from Columbia Traffic and Transportation Committee. Thank you for your time on there. It's been difficult, I'm sure.
I wish I could do more, but when I joined, I was a selectman and I realized I've taken on more than I can handle.
Okay, I will tell you, you managed, so. I was on Route 2 yesterday and I looked up quickly and I saw. Connecticut State has a traffic camera, a speed monitoring camera ahead. And I thought, well,
It's in the paper now, the state's gonna do it, so.
it?
he doesn't know yet.
do it. I saw both sides, people going by me like crazy, and I thought, there you go, baby. I honestly, I was doing 64 and 55, so we'll see if I can. Again, 10 miles over. 10 miles over, I'll test it for all of you, because that's how I am.
What a good guy, he did it for us, what a middle town.
But, yeah, right, but the bottom line is, I'm waiting, we couldn't find a pool, we couldn't have a board the other day.
Yeah, I felt bad.
We have to make recommendations, or honestly. We're not really finding any solutions, and we have to just pray. So, okay, all those, well, we're just gonna take your resignation around, thank you. Town administrator report, you have nothing?
The next thing in the correspondence, but I'd like to talk about it a little bit more, is the plan of conservation development. A lot of boards, commissions, can see many people in here who have contributed already. It's really, gonna be something we can be very proud of. It's very important in grants, because a lot of grants have to, one question is it, in line with your plan of conservation development for the future of the town? I'm going through it myself now, I'm already looking at some edits on some of the bonding, that we're doing and some of our finances, but please take time to look at it. We have at least a month before the public, hearings start opening up. Well, that, we're a printed copy, but it's also on the website. If you want, those, it's very interesting. Well, actually.
There was a nice letter from support and thanks to the town transfer station employees in here, so.
That was very
really good. So, budget. Transfers, I move to approve the transfers as presented totaling $18,364.
And the following transfer on that list, we just authorized to the town $30,660. Well, that's why it's so big, okay, thank you.
I like the text and I go, check there.
So,
Yeah, I think that's really
I
important.
think we have 785 out.
705.
We need to double.
705.
Tell all your friends.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Are we on the transfer or is that on here? Text may go.
No, previous one, actually.
Well, there was something we had to.
All those in favor of transfers? Aye.
That was one of the things, they transferred money to pay for it.
Oh, that's one of our trade.
Yeah, one of the
Did you
transfers,
approve it?
that's where I saw it.
There's a small amount of them.
Sure.
I move to approve refunds as presented totaling $425.23. What is it? $425.23.
A refund. That's-
Refunds.
Refunds, that's it. I'm looking at the bills.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
There it is.
Approve bills. I move to approve the payment of bills as presented totaling $370,761.79, consisting of 25-26 emergency, 25-26 regular, credit card and paychecks. Yes.
I'm gonna ask you about that HVAC, there's a lot of money going to that.
Yeah, so that check was authorized by the committee, but we're holding it until some more milestones are hit. So what we do, we don't hold up processing the checks, we hold up sending the check. So that one is
So
actually.
is it moving along?
We're making a lot of progress.
So the goal is when's it gonna be done?
It's supposed to be done by the end of the year, this year. Primarily done by this fall. Well, this summer is when you have to get
The bulk of
most of it,
yeah.
while the kids are out of the building. So that's what we're pushing for, and we're holding them accountable to hit milestones, so that will happen.
And that's tough.
So it's not been fun.
Any discussion? All those in favor of paying the bills? Okay. Well, so that's fine. You'll see two bill slates going around. One is for tonight's, one is for the last meeting we didn't sign.
Okay.
Bills. Audience citizen. Seeing none?
Yeah. Randy, that Katie, basket shop. I just want to thank the board for all the thought and the discussion and appreciate the way you facilitate the meeting, Steve, to let her. These issues are not always easy, but I really appreciate the process, so thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
I'd just like to also thank the Columbia 250 committee because they have done, even though I did not agree with this particular exhibit that they were looking to bring, I know that they've put together a lot of great work in this town. I'm looking forward to many of the events, and I know that working on a town commission is often tireless and unappreciated. So to Judy, to Ingrid, some of the other people who may have been here and left, I appreciate you and I appreciate your work. And I do love this country and I do believe in freedom of speech and I do believe that we can both love our country and also recognize and understand that we're still working towards some of those ideals. So I appreciate that the committee heard our opinions tonight, but I really, really appreciate that the 250th committee is doing such a lovely job here in town. Thank you.
We truly have been
Yes, so I hope that it'll be.
Yes, Ingrid?
322-87. My comment has to do with, the motion to approve the proposed fee increases for recreation, transfer station, etc. And having been on the Solid Waste Commission many years ago, I learned a very painful lesson, which is that seniors didn't want any increases on anything. So just, my observation, which I'll share, is please find a way to soften the proposed fee increase communication to senior citizens, because they will rise up in protest and it will be worse than PragerU.
You know, it's very difficult. We try, honestly, we try.
Yeah.
We will still, as a town, pay $250,000 more to Casella Waste.
Yeah.
And, you know, so many people have had pickup at home and stuff. The sales of the stickers are minimal. Fortunately.
And you do a great job. Thank you so much. And everybody in the town appreciates everything that goes on, including at the transfer station, which really is sort of like the town square. So thank you very much.
You always run into people.
When I go there, my wife always says to me, what took you so long?
Right.
Right? And so, okay, well, thank you very much for your comments and your attendance tonight, for your input. We'll never be perfect. I tell my kids, I wasn't a perfect parent, and if you're better than I was, someday down the line, we may just get there. But we learn from our mistakes and hope the next generation does better.
Agreed.
So, at this time, we are going to suspend the meeting and go into the executive session. 8:35. Come out of executive session at 8:52, no action taken, resume the Board of Selectmen meeting. At this time, a motion to adjourn, all those in favor? Aye.
You want me to say no, we're not sure.
No, we'll talk more.
Abstain.
Okay, so.